Salam, hello and welcome. Now that we got the Banshee running, I noticed a slight issue, but before jumping to that, let me give you a quick update. I polished some of the aluminum parts on the bike, and look at this throttle body. That's nearly mirror finish. You can see the camera here. Amazing. And so is this water pump cover. And also the silencers. Now the bike has got a whole bunch of new stickers. I even restored the OEM stickers. Here they are. These factory stickers, which they look horrible, but they give the bike that nice look. Other than that, the bike is running really great. Really, and this thing is damn fast. Right, so let me show you the issue. Now this front wheel, the left wheel, is gripping a little bit, and that can be one of two things. It's either the wheel bearing is tired or the brake caliper is tired. I'm more lean towards accusing the brake caliper, because after using the front brake, I feel that grip strong, and then it loses a little bit as I continue riding. So it seems to me that it's more of the brake caliper. In any case, we're going to dig through it now and see what is the real issue. All right, so with both wheels off the ground, let's take a closer look. This is rolling really good, no issues. And this, on the other hand, is so heavy. I don't know if you can hear it, but I can hear the brake pads really gripping on the disc. That is a waste of power, speed, and fuel. Now that can mean that the brake caliper is tired and the piston is not fully seated back when the brake is released. Now, these calipers are OEM. I've seen cheap calipers on eBay, on AliExpress, and you can buy them for $20, $30, $40, both calipers. But I'm not going to sacrifice the OEM, the original brake caliper. And so, I'm going to salvage the original caliper. For that, I have ordered a rebuild kit. Here it is. It's essentially a simple kit, not the full rebuild kit, but this one comes with a piston. This is the Caliper piston, and a couple of O-rings, and that's really all we need to build this caliper, because other than the piston seating issue, there are no other issues with the caliper. Now come in here, right away you can feel how tight the brake pads are on the disc, and that confirms my theory about the piston. We'll confirm it further as a further confluence once I take the brake caliper out, and then we're gonna see how's the roll of the hub. Now the caliper is mounted to the hub with two 12mm screws, one here and here's the other one. The impact is too big to be fit in here. I'll use the ratchet. Now we can take the caliper out. Look how gripping that is. Just doesn't want to come out. Wow. Wow. That is really tight. Unbelievable. Here it comes. Now the bearing is okay, the wheel hub is spinning as it should, so it confirms that this is the issue. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take the brake pads out and then push the piston all the way out by just gripping on the brakes, let the piston come out, and then completely pull it out. Clean the caliper, put the new stuff in, call it a day. I'm going to keep this cardboard to catch any dirt, anything that falls down. Did I mention that I'm going to replace the pads anyway? Yes. Perhaps you've seen the new pads on the bench. Right, so the pad holder, there are two screws holding the pads here, and these are 5mm Allen key. It's not worth it, I'll use the impact. Okay, so the best option is to put the caliper back and then try the T-wrench on it. God. These old pads were just reaching the end of their life anyway. Okay, so here's the piston. This guy right here. The reason that it doesn't go back and set completely is because of all of this dirt or rust or deformation on the surface of the piston. I'll have a brake clean sprayed everywhere, clean the caliper first, and then we'll get on removing the piston. Really? Right, so now I'm going to be pumping the brake to get the piston out as much as possible. Let me see if I can remove it with a vice grip player. And fair warning, I expect this to be messy because as soon as I remove the piston, all the fluid is gonna gush out. Nothing, but no wonder it wasn't fully seated. I don't know if you can see this. Take a look at this. This is the surface of the piston, and this is not just dirt. So this was really, it had it coming. I mean, it was due for replacement. It's really bad. Okay, so I'll keep pumping the brakes until it come out. And now it is out. Yeah, look at the condition of this thing. See all these grooves. All these are grooves. Anyway, good thing we have a new one. So let's get on rectifying this. Now next I'm going to cut the caliper completely loose. I'll remove the fluid line from here. And it looks like 12 mm, so I'll remove that. Alright, and the caliper now is free, so we'll get on replacing these O-rings. So there's the inner, the thick one, and the outer, the slimmer one. We'll remove these two, clean the caliper, and have the new piston in. Oh, this one is really bad. It's sticking even further down inside. I'm not sure if you can see this, but this groove will need further cleaning. Now the rest of the O-ring is stuck in there. I'll be trying to spray WD-40 and work with the brush. Now, one of the things that I like to do is root cause analysis. So I cleaned the old piston because I really want to know what caused the issue so I can prevent it from happening in the future. But I guess it's time and usage. So while the inner surface is really smooth, but this is not as smooth. Now this, can you hear that? This is a smooth surface, and that's how it sounds. And this is all grooved up. This has taken some serious beating, and I guess because I ride the bike in the sand, but not too bad after 20 years of sand bashing and riding in the desert. Alright, I can live with replacing a piston. Now, I have cleaned the caliper to the best of my ability. The grooves, I spent like good 40 minutes cleaning these, but I think they are okay now to go. And we're ready to start the assembly. I'm going to assemble these parts with brake oil, it's a .4 brake oil, and let's go. The first thing I'm going to do is to lubricate these O-rings and have a good oil film on them before I put them in the caliper. And the second one is fully seated, and there you have it. We have a set of brand new O-rings, and the last piece in the puzzle is the piston. So I'm going to have a thin film of oil on it as well. Okay, I'm now going to install the piston and push the piston in. You would expect some resistance when it comes to placing the piston because it's running on the O-rings. So I'm using the old piston to push the new one in. I will be tapping with the rubber hammer gently. That's it. There you go. So this is the rebuilt caliper, and before I install the new pads in, I'm checking the spring, and that looks all right. Okay, let's have the new pads. Starting with one. And when you put the new pad in, you might need to massage it to align with the screw, like that. And if it fits without any resistance, that means that the spring is bad and needs to be replaced. So it did exactly what I expected to do. And look at this. When I pull the pin, it's gonna jump up. So the spring is doing what it's supposed to be doing. And that's good. Second one in. Good and good. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to tie these screws but just I'm gonna snug them. I'm not going to tie them all the way down, torque them down. I'll do that when the caliper is installed on the bike. Okay, so let's get with installing the caliper back on the bike. Actually, one thing I forgot to mention is that I took out the bleeding nozzle and I cleaned inside here. Yeah. Screw broke. Crap. Yeah. That screw broke right here. Let's see if I can get it out with a vice grip. Hopefully it will. Not much to grip on, actually. I think we have a good groove here for a screwdriver, so let's try it out. Yeah, it's turning. It's hard, but it's turning. Here it comes. Finally. But here's what I noticed, the other screw of the brake caliper. I mean, if you look at this, the threads are tired. So I'm going to run this through a die before I put it on the caliper. And this is an M8 size and the thread pitch is 1.25. And so I have the screw on the die and will be running it gently through the die. Alright, now is time to tie these up. Of course, I have cleaned these washers, both of them, and they are in good shape, so I'm going to reuse them. Now, before I go on and start bleeding the system, I'm going to replace the pads on this brake caliper as well. Okay, so having learned my lesson, I'm going to break these two screws before I remove the caliper. I feel like this is not going all the way in. Indeed it is not. Clean them a little bit. Okay. Might have to bend this slightly to make room for it. Yeah. Here we are. I can just completely remove these now. So here they are. Really not much left in their life. They were due for change anyway. Now I thought that the other piston is good. Yeah, look at that. This is the piston. It is really in bad shape. And if I push this back, which I need to do to install the new pads because they are thicker, that for sure is going to damage the O-rings. And then we're going to start to have leaking issues. So I might as well rebuild this caliper since I have the kit anyway. Let's do it. So here we go. One thing leads to the other. And to be able to rebuild the second caliper, I have to bleed the first one. And to do that, I'm going to open the reservoir cap, which is held by 2 Phillips screws. And fill it with fluid, which I'm sure it's empty by now. Well, not that empty, because I know it will use all the fluid there is. I'm going to fill it up. Okay, so we go back to caliper 1, and now I'm going to break this loose. And I can see already some bubbles coming out. I'm gonna tighten up, pump it harder. Open again to let all the air out. First, I can use this piece of hose. Well, enough with bleeding this, because on the upside, oh, this piston is nearly out. So I'll give it a few more pumps, and it is out. Good. Yeah, it's really bad. And look at this. Look at this. This piston is shot as well. It was good to be used all the way up to here, but this spot is junk. Okay, I'm glad we're tackling this now. Being the nice guy that I am, I'm not going to bore you to death watching me rebuilding this caliper, so I'll do it off camera. I'll get back when it's ready. Right, so I got the caliper rebuilt. The new piston is in. Here it is with the O-rings, and I'm ready to install the pads. Also, I've checked the springs here, and they seem to be okay. Now let's compare the new and the old. These were just dying. Anyway, we've got the new ones. Let's put them in. Look at that. Both are in. And I actually did bleed the system. The camera battery went low, so I had to put it on the charger. But in any case, you've seen me, you got the idea, you got the principle of how to bleed the system. And now both are spinning well. This one is a little bit catchy, but I think it will be much better as soon as I put the tire on. Look at that roll. Now look at this. Amazing. Now that's how the tire should be rolling. Let's see how's the bike rolls now. I roll it and it keeps going. Now, one more thing I would like to do, and that's changing the gear oil. I checked on the gear oil a couple of days ago. Now, the level was fantastic. There's no shortage, but the color was, I'll show you that. Now that's the color of the oil and it looks gray, so I'm going to change it. I'll be filling it with Yamaha lube. Now, although this says motor oil, but this is MA2 certified. It's JASO certified, and this is MA2 oil, which is good enough for the wet clutch. Now I have an aftermarket drain plug, and it's not the typical standard Yamaha Banshee drain plug, and it's an Allen key. Look at the color of this oil. Right, because I'm changing the oil cold and I know it should be hot. But I live in a residential neighborhood and I don't want to start the bike and ride it here. It's gonna annoy everyone. I'm trying to be a good neighbor. So I'll let it drain for some time until it completely is drained, and then I'll start filling with a new lube. I took my time, I cleaned the drain plug. And then I checked the washer. This is actually a Teflon washer. And it comes with a metal ring, and both are in good condition. So I cleaned that and I'm going to use it again. Now, drain plugs in general don't need to be torqued. Just snug them. That's it. Now the gearbox of this bike typically takes 1.7 liter. So each one of these is 1 liter. Right, now I need to add about 700 cc. Yeah, actually the level is good. I'll keep it at 1.5 and then I'll check after the next ride, and if it needs more, I'll add more. Now, thank you for watching. This has been fun. So if you enjoyed it as much as I did, please subscribe, like the video, and I'll see you in the next one.